ago I talked about pruning this hedge, and we pruned it on I think it was February was when we pruned it, and I mentioned the different species like hazel and amelanchier and Viburnumopulus and Rosa rugosa, which is the wild rose. And you can see now that the amelanchier has beautiful peachy, or even deeper kind of peachy cerise leaves, orange colour, and beautiful flowers at the moment. And that's why that's part of the hedge, and the buds are breaking on the hazel, and they will be followed by the Viburnumopulus, and you can see there's buds on this, so about a month and a half from now they will be in flower, and there's a lovely flow or succession of flowers. And the Rosa rugosa, I think about June, the end of May into June, will have beautiful open scented flowers as well. And the pruning works that I did at the time have made the hedge look nice and trim and tight, and they're not going up above the electric fence. So on an evening like this, as I mentioned, the sun sets here, and as the season goes on, the sun will set about here. So the back of the house, you have a beautiful sunset through the windows, or if you're sitting out the back, and a nice view of all of Kildare and Offaly and Summermead and the mountains off up in the distance there. And on a really clear day, I believe, I'm not sure I've ever seen them exactly, but on a very clear day you can see the mountains of Mourne. So that means you can see Northern Ireland. So from this hill you can see, I think, 5 counties on a clear day: Dublin, Wicklow, Offaly, Meath, and we're in Kildare. So this is what we've been doing, and one of the last things to break bud will be the beech. But you can see there's a lovely colour in all of this. The birds are singing. We've been rejigging the vegetable garden. Some of you remember that we did have a stone circle, a raised stone circle, looked a bit like a wishing well in the middle, and it was full of strawberries, and before that was full of herbs. We decided to remove that, and we've gone for quite a simple grid pattern here in the kitchen garden or vegetable garden. So it's missing a few things here. We don't have a lot of plants because we haven't planted much in some of the beds. This pathway here will continue up along here when the purple sprouting broccoli is finished, and we'll put new timber hedges along. But even at that, there's some nice things happening here. The Sorbus Kashmiriana will be in flower soon. Got some beautiful daffodils. I've missed out on showing you some of the other things that were in flower here because I didn't do a video. So the tete-a-tete daffodils, which are pretty much done now, beautiful. And next to come up now are the allium. This variety is Purple Sensation, and they'll be coming out soon. And we've got some tulips about to come out here. And the anemone branda, which are in the secret garden as well. They open and close in the sunshine, but some of them are staying open here now at the moment. This is Ribes sanguineum, which is the flowering currant, and it's kind of finished now, but the flowers were really nice. Still nice now, but it's just coming to an end. You can see some of them are getting a little bit on the raggy side. And that's nice here. I'm doing a bit of wood chopping. And we uncovered this and kind of forgot it was here until the other day. This is a, let's see if I can focus it now. It is an epimedium, a little pink flowered variety, and it's quite nice. And these hellebores are still looking great, even though they're technically finished flowering. The bracts on the outside, or the sepals or the calyx, are still there, which is nice. This is amazing at the moment, and it's a trillium, a pink trillium. I don't know what the exact variety is, I need to look that up, but it's got these beautiful pink flowers and some really nice patterns on the leaves. And a trillium is kind of a North American equivalent of a bluebell, as in it's a forest floor plant. It grows underneath the trees and it comes up and produces flowers and leaves early in the year before the trees produce their leaves. So it completes its life cycle, or at least its season cycle, very early on, while there's light, before the deciduous trees get their leaves and shade the forest floor. And it's really worth growing. They're difficult to get started, but this one's here a few years and it's really doing well now. I might even be dividing it, and I do have another one of them as well around here. And this is a white variety, and it's still got the nice patterns on the leaves, and the most beautiful handkerchief type flowers. I think they're amazing. This one here is the Lords and Ladies, and it's the the maculatum one, which is Arum italicum maculatum. So it has these kind of silvery veins. And another great plant at this time of year is, it's kind of looking pinky on the camera, but I assure you it's a little bit more blue than this. It's Omphaloides, and the variety is called Starry Eyes. And the one down in the left hand side is more like what most of them look like. In reality, the camera's picking them up a little bit pink. We've got another one here, and you can see it's a bit more blue looking here. I think this is a yellow Corydalis. And again, I need to look this up. Sometimes you tend to forget the names of these things, and you just appreciate them for how beautiful they are without knowing what they are. We've pulled up a lot of this woodruff, and I think I brought it into the training centre, into Park House, and it's starting to sprout again. It's a bit of a brute, but it's a nice brute. It's just starting to come into flower, as you can see here. Gallium odoratum suggesting it has a sweet smell. It has a really beautiful smell, and it's in the same family as cleavers, which is that kind of weed that runs up along hedgerows and climbs through them and clambers along, and not quite so nice. Tulips here are doing really well. Got a couple of varieties here, and then in behind them, more delicate than the tulip, is another epimedium, and the flowers are beautiful and delicate, but also the new foliage is stunning. The colours are amazing. So everything is looking really lush and beautiful around here. The pond is looking a bit messy. I have intended to pull out some of the so that noise in the background is the farmer because it's the time for sowing seed. He's been ploughing and rolling and now rotivating and sowing seed. But back to the pond. Yeah, I did intend to pull out some of this. The major plant there is mimulus. It's a water mimulus and it has a beautiful yellow flower with tinges of orange on it. And then this one here is Pontideria, I think, which has a kind of a buttercup type flower. I really like this one too. This is a pulmonaria or a lungwort, but this one is really speckled and beautiful. And coming out now is this Japanese maple, and this particular one was a wedding present from a former colleague of mine, and it's one called Aconitifolium. So Acer, I suppose, palmatum Aconitifolium, and this one is really nice now, and then it's stunning, absolutely beautiful red colours in the autumn, and just the shape of a Japanese maple such as this, that lovely widening out shape where the leaves divide and subdivide, so you get this lovely canopy. And if I go under here, this is not the right time of day to show you these anemone. Just catching my hair and things. I need a haircut. I've got a COVID hair at the moment. These are the anemone blanda, a type of wood anemone, not like the most natural wood anemone, which is Anemone nemorosa, which is the proper wood anemone, but these ones do really well in the shade and a woodland environment. And that's just naturally growing here in the hedgerows, and it's growing in our garden. That's just the normal primrose, Primula vulgaris. And the hellebores are still going. I mean, I think I first showed you these on the 8th of January, and this is the middle of April now, so they really are such a valuable plant for that reason. We've been doing a bit of messing around with moving plants, with bluebells here, and we had some ferns in the polythene tunnel. Not this one, this one's a male fern, I think, which is Dryopteris variety, but these ones here as well, which is a deciduous one. And look at those beautiful croziers about to bust out. I've got another one here, which is a polystichum, I think. And this is the sunken patio, which gets neglected. It's nice in the summer, but it really needs to get some gravel on the base now. And this bed never really looks good at this time of year, but it's just starting to come into it'll be in its prime in a couple of weeks. This is a Rheum palmatum, which is a ornamental rhubarb. It's amazing. I think people sometimes call it actually I don't know, another one. This is a Runcus dioecious, will be beautiful. It's like a very large stilbe, and this is a stilbe here, and this colour is absolutely beautiful. This is Brunera, and the variety is called Jack Frost, and if you look at the leaves it's quite obvious why it's called Jack Frost, with that frosty look. And there's some more of the ferns that we moved. And our camellia, and I'm not really a big fan of camellia, but if we have to have a camellia in the garden, it should be red. The pink one I think is really difficult to look at and a little bit insipid, sickly, if you may. Got a couple more ferns here, and this needs a bit of a tidy up, this bed at the moment. More hellebores still going. bill variety geranium, and a type of cowslip, and it's definitely a hybrid. This one is a cowslip or Primula Veris, and these are shuttlecock ferns, amazing ones that just shoot up everywhere in our garden now since we planted them. Bit of a brute, bit of a weed. Maybe we'll be cursing it in a few years, but at the moment I think they are amazing. They're known as the shuttlecock, and you can see the shape of them, and I'll show you some more over here. Beside the bath, and you can see why they're called a shuttlecock. Amazing. And then the gunnera is starting to come up, and I think unfortunately the tops of the leaves have done a little bit of frost damage. I hope it won't be too bad to the look of the plant. And our little box hedging alternatives. So this is not buxus. We're not planting that much buxus anymore. We have some already, but we decided if we were going to do some more, we wouldn't use buxus because of box blight, which is a fungal disease that becomes more prevalent the more you clip the plant, because there's less air circulation when you have a tighter plant. The more you clip, the tighter it gets, and the box blight really will start to, if it gets into the plant, it will start to make the centre die out. So we've decided, instead of planting box, we're planting this plant, which is euonymus. I think this variety is green spire, so it's euonymus japonicus. Japonicus meaning is from Japan, and I think it's green spire, which just kind of means it's an upright small variety. There's just so much to see on an evening like this, and the light is quite nice too. Got some grasses, and this one here, and I'm not sure what the variety of this one is. I'm not sure of a lot at the moment. I would have said marmalade, but I think it's probably something called amber waves, and some expert is going to tell me I'm wrong. Another variety of heuchera. We really like heucheras at the moment, and this really common plant from my childhood. Every person had it in their garden. Oops, sorry. And the reason why is because if you pull off a piece like this and stick it in the ground, or a small clump of a few of them, it will grow again. And it's a saxifraga. Saxifraga is a family of plants. This one is quite big for saxifragas. A lot of them are quite small, and these stems will come up here and flower at about this height, and it's really attractive and a good plant for here in the dry of the kind of the axis of the stone wall. Pond is looking slightly murky. Still have 4 fish though. They've survived the winter and they've been fed twice in March, but not much before that. I think the last time before that was probably October, because they go into a kind of a state of semi-hibernation and they won't eat, which is fair enough. So we've got the these are a Hemerocallis daylily. Where's my finger? There it is. Daylily. More of this beautiful heuchera amber waves. More of this lovely geranium. I need to look up what variety that is too. Another heuchera. The colours are really nice at the moment. Daffodils. And this is the last of the tulip called Red Riding Hood. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. Probably have one a little bit more close somewhere, but it was really nice, and we still got that foliage. Unfortunately, the slugs tend to like it as much as we do. And there's another orange variety, and I think this one is possibly marmalade. And we moved some of these also from the pots. This is a euphorbia, a purple one, purpurea, amygdaloides purpurea. This guy is nearly finished. It's known as a Turk's hat, and I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It's not coming to my head. I'll put it up on screen when I remember. It'll come to me in a second. This is Magnolia stellata, and it doesn't really like heavy frosts, and you can see this mark here. It's got little pink tinges, which makes me kind of wonder whether it's not stellata and it's more Leonard Messel, but I'd be fairly sure it's stellata. I think that pinky tinge is again to do with the cold we've been having for the last week. But it's a really nice tree here. It's only really getting going now. We've had it planted for a few years, but the plan is a bit like a Japanese maple. It'll have a canopy and we'll remove the lower branches and have the perennials underneath. There's a lot of bare patches because we've been digging out things. We took out the delphiniums. We took out the delphiniums because they get too tall, and then we get kind of heavy winds towards the end of, say, April into May, and just as they're about to flower they get flattened. Even if we tie them up, they just get flattened because we live on a hill, as you saw from the where I was showing you the view. And this beautiful rose here has got lots of lovely new foliage on it, and roses always look nice now early in the year before they get the flowers, and before they get blight or any sort of diseases. This is another one of those Red Riding Hood, and you can see why it's called that. Beautiful little tiny dwarf primroses. And a couple more things to show you around here. This is something we need to remove here. It's gone a bit wild. It's got ground elder, it's got Crocosmia, or Montbretia as you would call it. And it's also got a ground cover comfrey, which is quite nice on its own, the comfrey on its own. But now it's all mixed together and it's quite difficult for us to manage this, so it all needs to be dug out. More of the lovely heucheras. This is the star at the moment. Look at the beautiful stem of this. This is a peony rose, looking well. And the last time you saw this, there was frost and snow on it, and now look at it. We call it the spring garden because it had a lot of spring flowers in it. A lot of them are gone past their best now, but there are a few perennials to come on as well. And then this here is that lovely malus that had berries on it the last time you saw it. All of the berries are gone and it's ready to get flowers and more berries. And this is our wedding cake tree, Cornus controversa, and it looks really beautiful now at this time of the year with the new foliage and leaves and the flowers and a lovely tiered shape to it. And one more thing. Well, actually a couple more things. We decided to plant more ferns and some more brunera and some more pulmonarias in this kind of shaded area underneath my tulip tree, which won't flower for a good few years more, maybe when I'm 60 or so. That's when I'm kind of expecting to flower. But I've got this as well. This is Prunus shiratia Mount Fuji. A flowering cherry, spring flowering cherry. And again, this has been planted about maybe 10 years or 11, 12 years. But it's really only starting to get going with those beautiful spreading branches just now. And it's really nice this year, particularly when you look from below. Too late to show you my favourite daffodil. One or two, that's still looking good. This is my favourite. And I like all daffodils, but I suppose there's so many yellow ones that this one here, which has petals and sepals that are purely white, this one's, I think, Narcissus thalia. I think, whatever the name is, I really like it for its beautiful colour.